Welcome back to another episode of the A Sports Podcast. My name's Art, here with my brother Alex.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Alex, we just witnessed Super Bowl 55, and I was left speechless.
Yeah, it was a big letdown. Say the least.
Not only, yes, the game was a letdown, but let's be real, the Buccaneers, put on a major clinic. The Buccaneers, in case you guys haven't heard, but I'm sure you have, the Buccaneers are Super Bowl 55 champions. Heck of a game plan. We're going to talk about the game a little bit before we get started. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. It helps out the podcast. All right, Alex. I mean, where can we start? Give me one key element of the game that you thought we knew to either Tom Brady or Mahomes was going to be the MVP. But aside from them two, what was something that stood out to you in this game? What player, what aspect of the game really stood out?
You know what? I feel like I think the offensive line for Patrick Mahomes was god-awful. He had absolutely no time to throw.
Yep.
Aside from that, it looks like the defense really had no answer for the Buccaneers. I mean, the Buccaneers did a great job of using the run game. Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, passing the ball to Gronkowski, passing it to Antonio Brown. You know, those little screen plays to Leonard Fournette. They just did a good job of overall just getting everybody involved, per se. I mean, to me at least, the Chiefs just had no answer for it, and the defense for the Buccaneers played great. They played one hell of a game.
They played really great, and they were well prepared. I think it's interesting because, you take away one aspect of the game for the Chiefs, and it was the big play. The safeties played deep, Whitehead and Winfield. They both played deep for most of the game. So you would think, okay, Kelsey might be open underneath, or Mecole Hardman underneath, or something underneath, and there was just nothing. The linebackers for Tampa Bay are so good. Devin White and Levante David, so good. Just too fast for Kelsey. They were able to stop the run pretty effectively. I'm surprised the Chiefs didn't run the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, but I think they couldn't in general because, I mean, Patrick Mahomes couldn't even get time to, on the pass block. So, I mean, what makes you think their running game is going to do anything?
Well, I'm sure you guys heard during the broadcast that the Chiefs were down two offensive linemen pretty much. So they rotated their right tackle to left tackle, their right guard to right tackle, and then inserted a right guard. So they were pretty much at backup left tackle and backup right tackle. So that's why the Buccaneers, I mean, they were going to get pressure either way because they've been playing so good throughout the playoffs. But that's why all the talk about the offensive line. So you had a big old shift in the offensive line. And I just don't think that when you have a big shift like that, you should put pressure on them to try to block these beast pass rushers. I mean, Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, they're just elite. Shaquille Barrett, elite pass rushers. And to throw the ball, however many times Mahomes threw it, I believe it was like 43 times he dropped back to throw.
What's that other dude's name? Vita Vea or something like that?
Vita Vea up the middle.
Vea.
Yeah, it's too much pressure on your offensive line to try to hold off these guys. I feel that when you have a big shift like that, it's a little easier to run block than it is to pass block, especially when you have elite pass rushers. So I maybe a little more run game. I still don't think in all honesty, I don't think the Chiefs would have won this game no matter what they did because the Buccaneers were just firing on all cylinders. But they could have kept it close. One thing we talked about before the game in our preview was the field goals. I mean, they come out and they kick field goal. And it's like, you're not going to win like that in a game like this where you're going to have to put up points. Any thoughts on Tom Brady and how he played?
You know what? Tom Brady played good. I mean, what else can you really say? He is the GOAT. And, I mean, he came out and he did what he was set to do. He won his, seventh Super Bowl ring. So, I mean, what else can you say? I thought he was firing on all cylinders as well. He was hitting Gronkowski, hitting Antonio Brown, and he did a great job too of taking those shots deep downfield. To Mike Evans and having the Chiefs have to. The Chiefs corners had to cover Mike Evans in man coverage, which drew a penalty. I mean, that's one that I didn't exactly. Agree with. That was on Breland against Mike Evans. I thought that ball was uncatchable, but I mean, regardless, we can sit here and say, back and forth that there was 3 or 4, penalties that resulted in points for the Buccaneers. We can sit here and say that, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's not going to really matter. The Buccaneers won the Super Bowl anyway, so what can you say?
The Chiefs couldn't score.
Yeah, the
Chiefs could not put up points.
Listen, the Chiefs' offensive line was terrible, but not just that. I feel like in this game they were kind of a one-trick pony. Tyreek Hill downfield, and when they didn't have the time for that to develop, or if they put 2 guys on Tyreek Hill, 2 safeties, or 2 guys deep on Tyreek Hill, maybe Travis Kelce or another guy could have been open underneath, but Patrick Mahomes just didn't have time for those plays to develop anyway. So,
no,
I mean, he was running around like backyard football, going back and forth. And, he threw one to Darren Williams in the end zone. And then Darryl Williams. Yeah, Darryl Williams drops it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, at that point, you have no momentum. Your team's letting you down because that's a ball you can't drop. What can you say? I mean, everything went wrong for them. There's no way they were going to win this game.
Yeah, Tom Brady, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, only took 1 sack. He was pretty comfortable in the pocket for the most part. You talked about Mike Evans earlier. Mike Evans had 1 catch for 31 yards. That's it.
Yeah.
He had one target that was an official target. The rest of the times he was thrown at was a penalty. So I believe he was thrown at like 4 times in total, and 3 of them were penalties, and one was the 1 catch for 31 yards. I mean, Mike Evans, even though he only had 1 catch, played a big role in this game because the receivers, the defensive backs had such a hard time keeping up with them. You talked about Gronk. Who would have thought Gronk 6 for 67 and 2 touchdowns, like on 7 targets? That's amazing for what, a guy that was pretty much retired before the season.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people didn't know if he was going to come back and play. He was dealing with a lot of concussion issues and things like that, and look at him now.
Yep. Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones combined, they had 150 yards rushing and a touchdown. The touchdown by Leonard Fournette. In total, 28 carries.
28 carries.
Ran the ball 28 times against Kansas City.
Yeah, but they were running the ball down the Chiefs' throat at one point. In that fourth quarter, I mean, they had no answer for it.
Well, I mean, even early on in the second quarter, you could see that Tampa, the first 2 drives, I think Tampa Bay tried to throw the ball a little bit more. But then once they started, okay, we need to run the ball. They ran the ball. The Chiefs defense got sucked in, leaving openings all over the place.
Yeah. How much did Ronald Jones end up with?
Ronald Jones had 61 yards.
Yeah, 61 yards. You know what? He ran the ball pretty good. I thought he should have had a touchdown. That's probably why that, he's not exactly confided in to be the, clear-cut starter because, a clear-cut starter gets in there in that end zone. I mean, no, there's no excuses for that one. But, and also Leonard Fournette, he played aggressive.
Yeah,
he was lowering the shoulder. That guy meant business.
He was running with a purpose. We'll definitely be talking about Leonard Fournette over the offseason because he's a free agent. Technically, he only signed a 1-year deal. So either he's going to go somewhere else and get paid pretty good, or he's going to come back and try to win another ring for probably less money. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Fournette. Anybody on the Chiefs you want to talk about? I mean, we know Mahomes had no time. He had a terrible game. Offensive line did not help him at all. I don't think he helped himself at all by trying to, do all this backyard football stuff. And I think the play calling was really bad.
Yeah, the play calling was
There was
terrible.
no adjustments, at
Yeah.
least that I saw at halftime. Running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 64 yards rushing on 9 carries, which is that's a pretty good game, 7.1 a carry, but he just only touched the ball 9 times. Like, come on, I think they could have gotten him going a little bit more. Travis Kelce, 10 for 133. Anything you want to say about Kelce?
No, you know what? Kelsey's been doing what he's been doing the entire season. He's that safety blanket for Mahomes. And, I mean, to be completely honest, then nobody else could really get open.
Nope.
So, I mean, just, I don't know. I thought too, some of those catches were kind of, I don't know, it was kind of towards the end of the game. It was a little, I mean, of course he got, his yards, he got his catches in, but it just didn't make a difference at the end of the day.
Well, no, but I mean, you could tell in the first and second quarter, like I thought he had a really good game,
Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
I thought he did, but at the same time, I felt like the Buccaneers linebackers were too fast.
Yeah.
I felt like, who's that guy? Who's the guy that was covering him?
Levante David.
Yeah, Levante David. I mean, he wasn't biting on any of Kelsey's routes, I mean, yeah, Kelsey got a good amount of yards and everything, but at the end of the day, it just didn't make a difference. I mean, these linebackers really were able to keep Kelsey in check.
You talked about Tyreek Hill. He has 7 catches for 73 yards.
Yeah.
Just, most of those catches were underneath. I think he had one semi-deep ball. It was like a 15-yard pass, but that was the deepest he really got.
We mentioned, too, that McCole Hardman was supposed to come up big at least. I mean, they tried to go to him a few times, and nothing panned out for him.
Yeah, there was just nothing. And, that goes back to what we were talking about in the preview. This Bucs defense is a lot faster and a lot better than I think people give credit for. And we saw that in the second half of the season, especially after their bye week into the playoffs. They've been just on a roll. That running game, I think, made a big difference when it came to confusing that Chiefs defense. Now, do you want to talk a little bit about off-season stuff? Because, I mean,
doesn't matter really.
Okay, do you think Gronk comes back?
I think so. I mean, if Tom Brady comes back, I'm sure Gronk will come back. You know what? I felt like he didn't even have any injuries, any concussions that he was complaining about beforehand. Those 2 years where he wasn't playing. So I think he's going to come back. And it looked like he was, excited to have 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. We saw his post-game interview where he said that, he just loved playing with Tom Brady. He loved the advice that Tom Brady was giving him. And it just looked like he's happy to be there. I think he comes back, no doubt.
A guy that we didn't hear hardly anything of was Chris Godwin. I'm pretty sure he's on his way out.
Yeah, he'll probably be gone.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back. I'm surprised Tyler Johnson didn't get much, any playing time. Oh,
where's Scotty Miller? Well,
he played a little bit.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't see him do anything.
No, he didn't do much. But Antonio Brown, we didn't talk about Antonio Brown. He scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. It's just everything was going right for the Buccaneers, and they just played a hell of a game. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to mention about the game?
No, you know what? We went for the Chiefs. We did pick the Chiefs, but hey, I wholeheartedly say the Buccaneers were the better team. They won the Super Bowl fair and square. It is what it is.
Yeah.
What can you say? And you know what? It's unfortunate for Patrick Mahomes. His legacy's tainted now. It is. Because you know what people are going to say. And you know it. I know it. The rest of everybody in the entire world knows it.
Yeah.
He didn't beat Tom Brady in the big game. That's what everybody's going to say.
What if he comes back next year and beats him?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't. People, you know how people are. They're fickle.
Okay.
It is what it is.
All right. Tyrann Mathieu, also another guy that we didn't hear much of. Didn't really do anything on defense.
That was another ridiculous penalty. I mean, I thought I saw Tom Brady get in his face, and they called the penalty on Tyrann Mathieu. Like, it's got to go both ways. I mean, these refs were completely dumb too. So
yeah, the penalties were bad.
I mean, well, what can you do?
Hey, but shout out to some of these guys that are on the Buccaneers that now have a Super Bowl win. Shaquille Barrett, Ndamukong Suh,
Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette. You know what? He's a great player that was wasting his career away with the Jaguars. So
yeah,
he finally comes to somewhere that can win a championship.
Jason Pierre-Paul, still playing at a high level. I mean, shoot, Gronk has another one.
I mean, Antonio Brown, this was his last chance,
right.
And he has a Super Bowl ring. What does he have now? How many Super Bowl rings does he have?
Did he win? I think he did win one, right?
With the Steelers, I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he was a rookie. I think that's what they were saying, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we recorded. I mean, just a quick update. We recorded our UFC BK Bare Knuckle FC podcast, and there was no audio, so we're gonna re-record that. I try to figure out what happened. Hopefully this one has audio.
Something that was really crazy was that we were in the living room watching All American. If you guys haven't watched All American, you guys need to go out and watch that because it's pretty interesting. We were in the living room. We had no idea that we uploaded our podcast and didn't even have audio on the podcast. My barber at Blaze Griffin on Instagram.
Shout out,
I repeat, at Blaze Griffin on Instagram was the first guy to tell me we didn't have audio. So, I mean, imagine if we hadn't have checked, that probably would have been 2 days that it would have been up with no audio.
Yeah.
And we were on course for some good views, man. We already had like a good 20 views on there.
I know. So
I was pissed.
We'll have to go back and re-record it. We'll probably do it right after this. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode of the AA Sports Podcast, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Peace out, guys.